Bob. Welcome to All Good Things in All Good Time. That's my YouTube channel, where it's always a good day to be alive. And this is the god awful news, because the news just gets worse every day. I don't want it to get worse every day. You don't want it to, but it does. And so, when trying to figure out what to appropriately call my news program, well, that seemed like the only sensible thing to call it. Let's turn on this. I got some stuff here. Oh, what's going on here? It won't turn on. Won't turn on. That's okay. I got natural lighting. It's enough. All right. So let's talk story before I get into the terrible news. Hopefully I'll say something funny today that makes you laugh. You know, what else do we have? So while y'all fill in here, I have 0 people watching. That's all good. The last one I did was vertical, right? And it was double the number of people the previous. So I wonder if being vertical, which is always cool to go vertical, is better than horizontal for some reason. And then my view of the ocean, which is currently playing, is getting some traffic as well, and I wonder if that's because that's also vertical. I'm gonna have to try horizontal like tomorrow or the next day, and then see how that compares, if it's drastically different or not. All right, cheers. Happy Saturday. There's a big event later to go to. It's a memorial event, and as appropriate as it might be, maybe from a distance, I don't know if I'll go up close or not, or want to, but I was thinking I'll try to get there early and then do a nice live walk down the beach for a while, and then maybe end up at that event before it starts, and then cut it off, and then go participate without YouTube. You know, you don't want to force YouTube into every situation in your life. I aspired to go to canoe practice this morning and failed, but and I think that's PTSD. I think one of the side effects of PTSD is basically that, it's called avoidance. It's one of the 4 side effects, and it's like procrastination. But it's kind of like if you've ever seen Charles Barkley's backswing, you know, he stops halfway through, you know, or a car that sputters. Yeah, it just disrupts. So that with PTSD, what I realize is triumph victories, right? You're totally over. If it's super victorious if you can just get back to some sort of normal routine of things you did before, and that's what I'm working towards. And boy, I hung out at the beginning of a practice while I signed the waiver on Thursday, and I wished I had my paddle with me. I wished I was getting in the water because I was there, and then this morning I intended to go, but then I didn't. But then I figured, well, at least I'll try to productively procrastinate, do this, and other stuff too. So, yeah, with my hopeful comedy career someday, I'm trying to rent out any theater I can. It seems like every place, no one seems to think I can do it. It's like no one, everyone's trying to check me to tell me that they don't think I can sell a place out, whether it's the 110 seat place or the 250 seat place or the 350 seat place or the 1,000 seat place. And I will pay to rent any place out, and I will sell any place out. Yeah, because basically better, the one thing I know I'm good at, my My brother was the best in every company he ever worked for, and that's sales. It's if I have something I believe in that I want to sell, I'm it's something I'm good at, really, really good at. And I've been on this island for 30 years, and I've been in the Rotary Club. I have paddle canoe. I've raised kids here. I've worked at the Ritz with 600 coworkers and TS restaurants with 300 coworkers. And, it, plus I'll talk to strangers easily, and there's nothing that's like the greatest approach. Like, if I wanted to become a politician here someday, there's no better way to sneak your way in by approaching people about a comedy show. Who's going to be objectionable to some stranger coming up to them on vacation saying, hey, if you want to come see a comedy show, come to it on Tuesday night, right? Like, I already love talking to strangers, but there's no better lead-in than this show if I could ever book one. And if nothing else, I can just walk around where there's thousands of tourists and talk to strangers all day long who are looking for fun and cool shit to do, and talk them into going to a show, like the day of, the day before, the week of. But before that, I can just go to every person I know who knows 105,000 people, because in a small town, I know 1,000, 2,000 people on the west side. There's 20,000 people here, I think, in population. It's a little more than that. I know 2,000 of them, right? Because I've been here 30 years and I've been involved in shit. So anyway, I'm just dying to try to get a theater rented, and stay tuned, because eventually I will, and that'll be fun. And I'm telling them, I got fans on YouTube that will fly here just to see the show. Like I put in made a call to the Hawaii tourism industry saying, once I get this going, maybe you'd like to help me, help sponsor my shows, because I'll be trying to make an effort to get people that, because my goal is to not perform anywhere else, just perform here at home where I don't want to have to leave, and which will be comfortable and fun, and I'll fill it with my local friends and then tourists too, and it'll be just a damn good time. What's up, brother? So yeah, anyway, that's all that about that. Man, I was just on Facebook, which is so weird. Facebook is the weirdest place. It's kind of weird also. I would much rather bare my soul to all y'all who are strangers at first, but then like, the thing about all my friends on YouTube is like you're sincerely interested, you know what I mean? Like, you're real friends. Even though all the people I've known for years on Facebook are real friends also, so much shit on Facebook is fake, and so much friendship on there's fake. And so it's weird how I love this, because it has this level of authenticity where it just sort of filters itself out. You end up with people who, you actually end up having a kind of a real connection with. So that's kind of cool. I was just contemplating that. But on there, oh my God, in friend suggestions, right? Like the third one down was Barron Trump, which, does that mean he's like is that an active, is he trying to do that? Is Facebook trying to do that? What brings that about? Is he trying to become a influencer, like by first getting this massive following? Is that his little goal, which might be with someone of his generation, which is funny. I'm so glad I haven't spent a lifetime doing this, being the person who's like, hey, everybody, look at me over here. You know what I mean? That's what all the people who are famous and we watch on TV for politics, acting, musicians are different because it's a different kind of thing, but the rest of them have spent their whole life just comedians. Hey, everyone, look at me. They're the people that need everyone's attention all the time, which is a weird thing. It isn't always necessarily, the best characteristic in a person to be the one that needs all the attention all the time. Like, those people in our real lives. And so, but all these young people think that's what they want to be or need to be. A lot of people have always thought that for acting. Oh, if I was just famous. Yeah, no, it's a curse. It's a curse no smart person should ever really want to be famous. You know, you want to be the book author that no one knows what looks like, who doesn't put his picture on the back cover. You know, it's cool to be maybe famous, but not know what anybody looks like. Like that Sia lady. Although I think eventually she showed her face. Anyway, but yeah, what a weird thing. Barron Trump coming up as a possible friend option. It must have something to do with him wanting to become an influencer, which I have decided to become, as you know. What proof is in the fact that you're, I know, eh? Well, it's funny because I'm just shamelessly, like a sneaky bastard. It seems like it's inevitable. If I just put up a live stream of the ocean every day, I'll get like 3, 4, 5 subscribers every day just from that. And then if I can just not push them away too much, if most of them are pro-democracy people, then they'll stay with the channel. Then again, I mean, I could say, because it could be a thing, I mean, you've heard about that, like David Pakman has said it and stuff, and I've heard it from occasionally from somebody that they were unsubscribed without them, you know, by YouTube, which doesn't make, it's weird. So it's, you know, if I wanted to be egotistical, I could say, oh, YouTube's taking away my subscribers, but I could also be realistic and say, I could be offending all of them. I can be pretty offensive. Oh gosh, I'm spilling my black coffee. I'm sure there are a lot of sensitivities I have offended. So it's neither here nor there, but nevertheless, when the kind happens, I get more subscribers. It's this natural byproduct of just showing people the ocean all day. And then right now I have over 1,000 people have seen it, which is going to be the biggest live stream I've ever had. And it's vertical. And so I have an analytical mind. I want to analyze everything. I wish I could just go know the numbers on things and know why things are. But algorithms, you know, the only way to learn from them is to observe them, I guess, and do experiments. So in the next day or two, I'll have to put it up horizontally and see if I get, you know, a third the views or just as many. Maybe this rolls into more. Maybe the algorithms are finally understanding some of my content a little bit, right? Because I don't do anything with any rhythm. I don't, which is, I think this should be its own like genre, like seeing your YouTube channel as your artwork, as you putting up whatever the fuck you want all the time, whatever's beautiful, whatever's interesting, whatever you like, whatever you want to teach the world. We all know certain things that other people don't, you know, whether it's maybe something about your town or something about history or whatever, you know what I mean? Your passion, cooking, gardening. If you paint, you know, put a camera on you while you paint, you know what I mean? Like, do whatever the hell you want. And but yeah, I think the algorithms prefer it when you do the same content, you know, and post videos at the same time every day, every week. However, the more you keep feeding it, I think if you do one every 2 to 4 hours, that helps you, you know, like Midas Touch. They post every 2 hours, 24 hours a day. It's pretty impressive. But different than all the other content out there, right? Like all these guys, they'll do one story for 10, 15 minutes, right? Which I consume all of it. And then I write it all down and I'm going to tell you all of the news, which might be more of a burden than it is a help. It's therapeutic for me. It ends up being a place where I accomplish many things, like a connection to people, support from others. I desensitize myself for getting on stage and talking to an audience, because really your goal is to just be super comfortable up there and be yourself. But it's so hard because, you know, you're on stage by yourself and it's like you got to make people laugh. You got to make them like you. And so this is just great for helping me find my voice, right, for comedy. And now I'm making like $1 or $2 from each one of these things. It's a wage. It's kind of funny. Um, what else? I was kind of. What else was I? Oh yeah. Anyway, so the doctor visit the other day. I want to talk about that a little bit because that's personal and a little bit funny. Um, the lady, she just wouldn't. She wouldn't laugh. She didn't want to laugh at all. I don't know. She's very serious. I thought she was a doctor. She was a nurse practitioner. If you didn't know this, if you're a nurse practitioner, it's a master's program. I don't know if you can do this in every state, but in this state, you can open up your own practice just as a nurse practitioner, see patients, and then refer them to doctors for all the procedures they need, right? Which is cool, interesting. But she was just not, and I had more humor to go, but I didn't bring it out because I don't think she would have responded well to it. She was somebody that had her guard up for whatever reason, either, yeah. So, um, I don't want to speculate on that. I mean, I could, but because I'm very analytical and I'm a little bit intuitive, but nevertheless, I tried to joke with her about the joys of being single, because oh, by the way, first of all, my vitals, I haven't been to a doctor in 30 years, right? I'm 56 years old. I'm lucky to be alive. I could have cancer and not know it. Getting my first colonoscopy here. I got to go make the appointment, but I've got the referral for that. Probably should have done that 10 years ago, right? But finally going to be proactive in that manner. But my vitals, my blood pressure is 114/76, I think. So really good blood pressure. So that's cool. And then I take no pills, right? Literally. So, and I have no relations with women. Not that I wouldn't mind some, but I'm also not necessarily missing it because of the many reasons, right? And then I was thinking later, this is the shit that Elon Musk has taken. I didn't think about medical records as quite how personal they are. But you're asked so many very personal questions, and you feel like you should have to tell that person, it's the doctor, you should be full disclosure. So people tell doctors all kinds of shit, and there are records on people of telling them all kind of personal shit anyway. But when it came to, how many times do you have sex a week, and how many partners do you have, and do you use contraception, and it was this whole section, safe, baby. That's one of the beautiful things about not, being out there trying to meet every girl you can, is you don't have to worry about venereal disease. So that's cool. And I tried to joke with her about that, and she just didn't really smile at all. That's okay. And then all that other shit. But then the part where it was do you feel sad or disconnected or isolated? And even though I spent more time than I should not around other people, this program, I was do I feel any of that stuff? And it's doing this live thing, having this interaction with my faithful, watchers, right? Makes me feel all connected and socially connected, which is really weird. It's really weird. But all the shit where it's are you feel bad about this, that, or the other, depressed or isolated? And I was well, actually, I'm not really around a lot of people. I'm isolated, but I got no bad feelings. So I have you all to thank for that, and this show, and YouTube. Who knew that these would be some of the side effects of YouTube? So yeah, post fire, this is all pretty cool. I got a bunch of homework to do. We'll see what happens with this lawsuit thing. There's several law firms are representing 20,000 people. When they talked about the people that were affected and were receiving help, it was 7,000 people, right? But of course, the spectrum is broader than the people directly affected like me. Anyone who just lost their job because of it has a claim, right? But I need to do a really good job the next few weeks detailing it, and then they're going to have something's going to happen on the 28th of this month, and then they're going to try to get funds out. However they're going to be determined, I do not know. It's really weird. I pray it would be pretty killer to get some of a settlement, because my future is so uncertain. I'm meeting on next Wednesday with FEMA and my new disaster relief lady together, and I wonder what's going to come out of that. I'm hoping to just find I don't need to be oceanfront. I don't need to be in a 2-bed, 2-bath. I'd be happy in a studio on the mountain. Because my happiness isn't based on that, and it's almost better to not be in a place so beautiful, because then you want to go somewhere more beautiful, right? Like if your house is too nice, it could be a trap. Right? You tend to stay home too much because your house is so nice anyway. Why go anywhere? And the next thing you know, you got agoraphobia. Oh, look what I found. Oh my God. So there's a grocery store, the Island Grocery Store. It's been here 10 years on the west side. I never been there. I did not know. It's up in the industrial park. It's just this big concrete building. 10 years it's been here. I never been there, but I was told, word on the street was, and that's how I found this out, Moosehead beer is sold there. It's the only store that has Moosehead beer on the west side of Maui, so far that I can find. Canadian, the one Canadian beer. There used to be more Canadian beers, in any given fridge. I might have to switch from coffee to beer here. And I'm going to teach the world how to open a beer with a beer. If you've never seen that, if you don't know, I'm here to be an influencer. So, so the doctor visit. Yeah. Anyway, that was kind of fun because I didn't have to share with him who I have, who I have sex with him. I protect all these weird, very personal questions. Any drugs you take, any ailments? It's like, nope, I have none of this stuff, none of that, because I have no allergies. I've been very lucky my whole life. I still am, but of course that's all going to come to a screeching halt, right before I die, which could become. I could have a heart attack tomorrow. I don't know. Nobody knows how long they have. That's the weird thing, right? But at least nobody has to take care of me, and I can still get a job doing anything that my body's necessary for, and so on. Anyway, all right. So that was my doctor's visit. I'll be reporting on trying to encourage others to go get their colons checked as well, and I'm getting my prostate checked and my blood work done, and I'm going to see a dermatologist, start getting my skin checked. If you live here in Hawaii, it is normal and common and almost necessary for everybody to occasionally get some shit burned off. So, yeah. And then there's paddling, man. I gotta start paddling. I got this crazy neighbor who's a MAGA lady who it just took me a little while to realize it, but oh God, it's just so disheartening because there's all these subsets of doomsday people that want the end of the world to come. And they're all living in the worlds that are making it happen. The religious people who want to make the end of the world happen, and selfish narcissists who are like, well, the world's coming to an end anyway, so why should I care? She's 70 years old. I'm not going to be here for it. In reference to global warming and the ocean rising and what we can and should do about it, and how stupid Republicans have been just denying the science for 50 years, when if we just accepted the science and been normal and just kind of tried to respond sensibly, we might not be in this place where people are suffering from massive disasters every week somewhere in this country from the weather. Often the red states who've been voting for shitty weather, they're getting the shittiest end of it, and now FEMA isn't going to pay them nothing, right? Oh, isn't going to help them out of it. I'm so glad this disaster happened under Joe Biden. Holy shit. I would not be in this space right now, guaranteed. My outcome would not have been so good. All right, and now my YouTube channel's starting to grow. It's pretty exciting. Like I said, my last news program had twice as many views as the previous, and my shameless attempt at subscriber is working with the ocean on display all day. In case you take some magic mushrooms or some LSD and you don't leave your house, you can just watch the ocean all day. It'll be a safe space. or if you need to have something on TV, because you're just one of those people like me who grew up with TV on in the living room in the 70s and 80s, you can put that on TV and still read a book and have a conversation or do something romantic. Anyway, all right. I got inspections coming up. The lady downstairs also is getting kicked out. She's been given 2 weeks. They said we're going to find you a new place in 2 weeks, and then once we do, you're going to have 2 days to move in. So I don't know. And they just showed up, at her doorstep. So that could happen to me at any moment, right? I have to stay very humble and assume nothing. But meanwhile, I gotta just, thank my, count my blessings, because this is the nicest place, maybe second nicest, third nicest place I've ever lived. And I'm gonna show you the other one that's nicer than this. It's in Malibu. I rented a room in a palace looking over Zuma Beach that was incredible. Anyway, and so I'll take you on a road trip there someday. What else? But yeah, so my neighbor lady, she's just so like, bring on Armageddon, the end of the world, the extinction of humans. And I'm like, what? Like, I guess your son didn't have any kids, so maybe she just doesn't have any skin in the game. But I mean, there's so many. I mean, all the religions are, welcoming Armageddon, and then there's the tech bros that are trying to bring it about so that they can move into their luxurious bunkers and then enjoy a world less populated afterwards or something. Oh my God. It's anyway, I wish it weren't so. I wish everyone on earth just wanted to preserve the earth and keep living. Is that so much to ask? That would be sensible, rational thinking. Anyway, in case you're not privy to it. But yeah, I got an inspection on Tuesday with a female lady, and then maybe a different female lady or the same one's going to meet me the next day with my disaster case manager lady, and then who, like I said, is kind of like a girlfriend. Hi, Michelle. She's been encouraging me to do the right things for myself, which I don't have anyone like that in my life. And so it's very helpful, and it inspired me to go to the doctor, basically, even though it was a nurse, not a doctor. That's all I needed. Yeah, so, yeah, what I was really curious about was my oxygen level. It was 96. And she said if it was 94, 92, that wouldn't be very good. But 96, that's fine. That's about average. Or, it's usually 96, 98. But because of my occasional use over the years of cannabis, I wonder, if that has compromised my overall, whatevers. So, all right, what else? Let's see. I've covered all these things. But yeah, I got Big T's funeral or whatever, memorial service later at Canoe Beach, my favorite place in the world, where I need to go to practice on Monday and start canoe paddling, right? And that's what's going to make it easy for me to sell out comedy shows someday. If I just get reintegrated into past hobbies and activities and passions like canoe paddling, get back into the Rotary Club, and then start doing, comedy shows. I mean, yeah, it'll be no problem to sell shows out here on Maui consistently, regularly, just from that stuff. And so, yeah, anyway, but I gotta get proactive. I gotta get out of the house. I gotta actually show up, which is, I think, one of the harder things maybe for somebody with PTSD who's had their thoughts kind of disrupted, I guess. All right, 29 minutes in. Let's get to this god-awful news. I'll try to go quick. This is the best. Marjorie Taylor Greene. May I respond to Marjorie Taylor Greene as a real American? This is what direct quote, she said, "Let the American people decide who the weirdos are," because she thinks she knows. It's all those other people that aren't like crazy insurrectionist witches like her. She thinks crazy insurrectionist witches like her are the normal ones. Weirdos, like just god awful weirdo Marjorie Taylor Greene, whose boyfriend now has no lines in his forehead, says, let's let the American people decide who the weirdos are. Okay, we will. You are it. Thank you for that. The jury's in. All right. That Speaker of the House, Little Dick Johnson, he is a coward and just says is always a coward, and is asked about protecting the Constitution, and he's a coward, and is asked about the budget they're trying to pass, and he's a coward, and that's all there is. You can see stuff about him, but basically all he'll give you is the message that he's a coward and a hardcore weirdo. That's okay. So that's what we got going on there. Jeffrey Epstein's videos. They're a hot topic in the news because they are not being disclosed. But what has been disclosed, and by a secret insider, was the lady who was interviewing for like a nanny job or something. And but she asked her about it, and then candidly she says that there's thousands of videos of young women, children having sex with Epstein, and all this, because these are all his bribe tapes, right? He had dirt on everybody he provided underage women to. God knows what happened to all those underage girls. I fear that many of them may have been just straight up murdered. And those that have survived, like Nancy Grace was just talking about, Virginia committing suicide. Virginia Guffey wrote a note saying, I'll never commit suicide. If I ever seems like I commit, it's not true, right? How about that? She wrote one of those notes. But she's the fourth one, according to Nancy Grace, that's committed suicide, right? Is that like one of Putin's friends going off a balcony? Anyway, so that is really interesting, right? Because there's all these QAnon crazy people who are all in that stuff, but of course they're just going to want to deny or give an excuse to all the tapes that have Donald Trump in them. But of course, those will never surface, because all his little weirdo people who supposedly care about this stuff are going to see them and go, oh, we can't let anybody see Donald Trump, our master, the man we pray to. We can't have him, because they're in this deep cult. They're going to, God knows what's happening. So all that evidence is probably being compromised or burned or erased. But, and wouldn't you just hate, it would be awful being one of those investigators that has to watch thousands of tapes of rape. It would put a stain on your soul. Anyway, all right, so that's interesting, because that's in the news, the thousands of videos that were talked about, and how none of the facts have, they disclosed the JFK papers so fast, so abruptly, so stupidly, so incoherently, unredacted, that they put people's personal information on there who are alive and well, and like 200 of them, they doxed people. They did that so fast. But now with the Jeffrey Epstein shit. Anyway, all right. How about those 20? It took 20. We had to send 20 federal brown shirts, right? Gestapo. Traitors who... And what I love is all the people now. There's lots of people reporting on this fact that all these people are criminals. They're violating the Constitution. They're committing crimes, whether they're the boots on the ground committing the crimes, like the soldiers at the extermination camps at Auschwitz, or the generals that are ordering them to do it. All the Trump people. It's crime. It's criminal behavior on display for all of us to see. People being kidnapped off the street. But that poor woman in Oklahoma City who was tortured by 20 federal in the middle of the night. There's got to be a more civil way to approach people that you have legal concerns with, like maybe during the day, maybe call them first, say, hey, we'd like to discuss this matter with you. Can we do so peacefully? Because we don't want anybody to get hurt. We don't want to break down your door. We don't want to put anybody in jeopardy. You know what I mean? Like, why does it have to be in the middle of the night with 20 agents to the wrong house half the time by guys who don't even care, who steal everything from these people? I mean, just terrifying, awful. These people are traumatized for life. They'll never be the same, nor would I. And that's exactly why the American Revolution happened. Because English soldiers were doing that shit. So, yeah, disturbing shit. Of course, it's been mentioned the 764,000 people that lost money on the Trump digital coin, and the 58 friends of his that made millions. Aloha. I'm talking about every subject that's in the news. So one at a time, just going through them all, because that's what I've been doing. With my PTSD after losing everything, being in this comfortable place, I'm a little shell-shocked, and seems like the thing that I tend to do the most is just watch the news. So since I watch all of it, I just thought, oh, and then also I started this as a thing for my class. I'm in a digital media class, and I made this part of an assignment, but it's just going to continue. And a friend of mine gave me the idea for the name. I was like, I need a name for like the most terrible, worst news ever. And he's like, how about the God awful truth? And I was like, how about, oh, that's perfect. So that's how it came about. And now I'm on episode 49, and I am getting through what is generally all the news. Once in a while I miss a few things. Like the last time I did it, I missed the Pope. So I'll comment on that. Anyway, all right. Rumeysa Ozturk was ordered to be released from custody. The Tufts PhD student, right? A real criminal, rapist, murderer. Those are the people we're going to go after. No, we go after this timid little woman who's a PhD student who spends all her time studying. I mean, gross. A violation against all Americans' souls and the Constitution, blatantly, like everything the Trump administration is doing, Trump regime. Anyway, so that's a big plus, that she's a Tufts PhD student. So Marco Rubio, there's this little tiny clause that the Secretary of State can use that's occasionally, rarely ever been used, that is for his or her ability to remove somebody who's like the head of state of another country, or prohibit them from coming, or, right, like real big national security threats but he's totally misusing this, right? It's never been used at all like this, and he's just taking away people's protected status without even telling them, with this tiny little clause that he's got the use of, and then scooping them up off the streets without them even seeing it coming, and then putting them in prison. It's just the most inhumane, un-American bullshit anyone's ever seen, and it's gross. And thank God this woman is free, but we need to retrieve every single one of their mistakes. Every one of those El Salvadoran deportees is a mistake, and that's why they don't want us to see it, right? Because it's like 90% of them are the sweetest boys ever. Maybe 5 or 10% of them have some sort of criminal past, but all of them are reformable. I mean, look at all the freaking people who once were in a gang in our country and are now, you know, working in the community to try to stop gang violence. You know what I mean? Like, who got a second chance. No, see, and that's, right, yeah, and that's what they've brainwashed you into seeing them as, right? These people working 60 hours a week are criminals because they're just here. They went from saying, we're going to go after the evil, bad ones. These are bad people, the rapists and murderers. Like Donald Trump is an adjudicated rapist, right? He talks about himself. right? So he's a rapist, and then, oh no, but if you're just here illegally, you're a bad person. When these are some of the best people in the world, they are working 60, 80 hours a week to feed their family, to support their American spouse and their American children. And they go to church on Sunday, and they've never committed a crime in their life. And the right thing to do is to put them in prison for that? No, 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 no. That's never going to make sense. Anyone who thinks that is a sadistic, evil person. And if that's you, you're fucked. Your mind, you need to check your mind at the door and unravel your sadistic, fucking evil nature. It's just gross. Anyone that would want to see that happen to another person for any reason. We don't even treat our worst criminals like that. Like, this is Auschwitz fucking behavior, and they're murdering them in there, probably. If you haven't seen it, look it up just do a little Google Earth search on Seacott Prison. Zoom all the way in the middle of the prison. Top, there's a shed. Look at the huge blood stain on the ground and what looks like a pile of bodies. Anyway, Kyle Kalinske did a thing on that. He found a woman who did a deep dive on that. So, yeah, the gay hairdresser, the freaking professional soccer player, the Filipino, the old mom, the mother that was just scooping off the street. Oh, that is the most haunting shit ever. In front of her whole neighborhood, these boot thugs. They're violating the Constitution, people's due process rights. The real criminals are the people scooping these people up, and they need to be put in prison. And everyone knows it because it's obvious. If you violate the Constitution like that, you're a criminal. So it's amazing that they're doing it, and that's why all their faces are covered up. So, and that just opens up the door for any evil people who want to go put on masks and some fake ice gear and then just go kidnap people for whatever reason they want to kidnap people for. And people are like, oh, I saw an ICE abduction, but maybe it wasn't. How would anybody know? Because now that's what we do in our country, right? It's so freaking frightening and scary. And of course, now they're going after judges, and lawyers are trying to kill all the lawyers, and governors, and they just locked up a mayor, right? The Newark mayor. So awful. Marco Rubio, Republican Party, should be ashamed of itself, and these people need to be held accountable, like those Lincoln Projects guys are now saying that shit too. I love that. What's up, TM? Anyway, my ancestors came here on the Mayflower illegally. Yeah. And then on my mom's side, and then my dad's side, they came in 1635 illegally. They just invaded this nation, right? That's what I come from. People who invaded this country. And everyone here comes from somebody who invaded this country, if that's the way you want to look at it, because you're so selfish. Oh, you got to come here, but you don't want anybody else behind you to come? That's just not American. That's un-American thinking. Get it straight. We are a country of immigrants. We celebrate immigrants. Immigrants are what built this country, in addition to slaves. So, oh my God. All right. Gavin Newsom just put out an ad. California is now the 4th largest nation. If California were a country, and California is such a great state, and I just love how there's these idiots who want to criticize California. Boy, are they stupid. And boy, have they never been there. Anyway, and then the YouTubers who want to go to the one part, they want to go to the Tenderloin. Okay, Tenderloin in San Francisco's always been shit. It's always had drug addicts all over the place, right? If you go there, 50 years ago, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, so if you're a YouTuber and you go there and you go, oh, look at the condition of San Francisco, look at the Tenderloin. Yeah, that's what you're gonna look at. Just like going to Kensington Avenue, I guess, in Philly, right? Anyway, although there is a fentanyl problem, and it is making things worse. I agree. And if you listen to me, don't ever snort anything, and don't take pills. Even vitamins. I don't think your liver and kidneys are asking you to put a bunch of concentrated nutrients into pills and shove those down your throat. Eat healthy food, right? Eat healthy food. Get your medium chain triglycerides, your omega-3s, and your cruciferous vegetables. Get that sulforaphane. And if you don't know what sulforaphane is, have fun looking that up. Do a deep dive. Maybe the thing that is the cure of the most things on earth. Maybe second to noni juice. Anyway. Um, so yeah, good on you, California. And of course, this is this tariff shit, this corrupt tariff shit, which is all just an invitation for corruption, right? Oh, we just need a little back deal. Do us a little back deal on the side, the Trump family and businesses, and then we'll take the tariffs off, right? Oh God. Anyway, and then of course the huge scam, the biggest scam in the history of scams, the racist Republican evil traders are just stealing hundreds of millions of dollars, right? With every measure you can, but this Bitcoin thingy is just hysterical, and it's right there for everyone to see. And I wonder if any of the cult members will mind or even notice. You know, it's so weird. These cult members, they're so brainwashed. It's like Charles Manson, Jim Jones, David Koresh, Donald Trump. That's one of the comments I like to make on live streams. Anyway, all right. Allison Riggs, she wins in North Carolina. Racist, criminal, bribe making, ballot fixing Republicans tried to steal that one from her. She won it clearly, and it took them 6 months because they tried to wipe people off the ballots like they successfully did when Kamala ran against Trump. I wonder, and it's like several million. If we need to stop people being able to wipe people off the ballot by protesting their ballot, which is apparently what all people need to do, is like protest someone's ballot. Someone you know, hey, I'm going to protest my mom's ballot. Send in that protest. Then her ballot doesn't count, right? Or if your Ziklag group, this white supremacist, white inferiorist, Christian nationalist group, you pay them millions of dollars to have that done en masse, right? And they did that en masse. If you want to hear about it, go to Democracy Now! Ziklag group, and Amy Goodman will tell you all about it when she interviews the guy from ProPublica, all right? The Diddy trial, holy shit. So, the fact that he wanted to go to trial is really interesting, right? Because going to trial means there's going to be discovery, which means, you know, they're going to go after all the evidence and want to see all the evidence, and within all the evidence might be a lot of celebrities guilty of some gross stuff. God, I can't imagine wanting to be part of any of that shit, that life of baby oil and raping people. Oh, and this Nancy Grace again, she brought back up the guy who claimed he was a sex slave to Diddy, and you know, just escaped from 6 months of being a sex slave for Diddy and Cass or whoever it is, his girl, and all the things he heard. And so she's like, we need to take another look at that. And anyway, and then of course all the names that are being floated out there from is somehow no one knows what. We just know names. We don't know how or what. There's no guilt inferred necessarily, but yeah, like they're saying Michael Jordan and Austin Powers, and the guy anyway, and other big famous people, and then other Kid Cudi, or Kid Cudi's was the girlfriend. His girlfriend was P. Diddy's ex-girlfriend became Cudi's girlfriend, and there's something there maybe. I don't know. It's all really weird, but they're doing jury deliberations, right? And they're asking people if they'd seen that video of him beating the shit out of that girl at the elevator, and if that would affect their judgment. And many people are saying, yes, I did, and I do think he's guilty, because that is obviously physical abuse, right? So anyway, but man, once that trial gets started, it is going to be riveting. Oh, and you know, I was thinking the thing that hurts the most for Diddy, if you're somebody that enjoys cannabis, he was a daily cannabis user, and now he goes day in, day out without smoking any weed. That poor guy. Although, no, I mean, he's a criminal, so I don't feel sorry for him, but that's going to torture him as much as anything. more than the bars themselves. Like, yeah. Anyway, all right, moving on, moving on. Oh, and did one of his victims just vanish? I heard something about that, so that's really haunting, weird, scary. I don't trust any of that whole world, those people. Them Hollywood people who do criminal things and then want to cover them up with all their money and influence, or politicians or whatever. The whole, Jeffrey Epstein's supposed suicide. The Real ID Act is now a thing, so which is very significant because now the federal government, for the first time ever, is taking control of all the ID systems. Previously, the states controlled all that, and you only needed a state ID, and the states controlled all your information. But now, the national government has just decided to dominate that. At the same time as haunting evil AI, artificial intelligence, is starting to capture everyone's license plate and face, and even your biometric, your walks are being studied and captured, and you combine that with the needs of your ID. I had to take 3. I had to do 2. I just got a new ID. I had already had the gold star one, but without that, you can't even get on an airplane. It's stupid. Look, once you establish your ID, you use 2 fingers and your thumb. But your thumb should be, if they have your thumbprint, they know who you are, they can look you up by your thumbprint. Why would you ever need an ID? Why can't they just make a smart system where it's just our thumbprint? It's the only information they have on us, connected to us being vetted at some point in our life. But you can do that when someone's young, right? And then just use your goddamn fucking thumb. That's all it should be. And why, if you're in America, you should just be allowed to travel all you want freely, right? At this point, we x-ray your whole body. We x-ray everything you put on. We test everything for explosives. Do you really think someone's going to somehow be more dangerous because you have an ID on them? No, we neutralize everybody with all that shit. So why not just let everybody, since we do all that security shit, why not just let people travel freely? That'd be really cool. That'd be freedom, right? Any good, real American should want more freedom, right? Less, and again, Republicans hate freedom, right? They hate women being free. They don't want women to be able to vote. They're going to take that away. They've taken away their right to reproductive health care. That ain't freedom. Taking away a deportee's right to due process and being able to self-deport or giving them humane options. That ain't freedom. It's evil. So MAGA tried to bribe these bribe-taking, bribe-making, racist traitors. Tried to bribe the Vatican to get a different pope, to get a hardcore right-wing pope in their eyes. Of course, they were unsuccessful, and we got our first American pope. Leo the 14th is the name he's going to go by, which is interesting, weird, how you choose your name. And what's also interesting and weird is how excited so many people are about this. Because to me, it's interesting, but that's it. That has, I guess he can have an influence around the world sometimes by asking for peace and encouraging world leaders to do less harm and to do more humanitarian stuff. But, it's a whole lot to do about nothing. Of the things in the world that people think is important that actually affects anybody, the Pope ain't one of them. This Pope, that Pope, it'll never affect anything that has anything to do with anyone's life that I ever know. Anyway, so it's interesting how there was both the effort to bribe. How evil are these Republicans? They just want to try to fix and manipulate everything to some unlawful end of crime and disorder. The party of crime and disorder, the Republican Party, with no values, who claims to have family values, but they have zero. No ethics, no morals, no heart, no soul. They love to inflict pain and cruelty and hurt and kill people. They're killing people right now all over the world and in our own country, starving them to death. It is so admirable. Oh, of course, and now they one of the most sacred aspects of all law in all of time is habeas corpus. And of course, Stephen Mills are already talking about why should we have to abide by habeas corpus, right? I mean, this is older than our country. This concept of due process and not putting people in dungeons who aren't guilty of anything or haven't been given the chance to defend themselves or speak for themselves. I mean, it is truly evil and haunting. It's martial law already taking place in that executive order where they we got to unleash the police like they don't have enough power with their tanks and assault rifles. We got to unleash our police and allow them to put the federal troops on the grounds in support of law enforcement, right? They just signed that executive order, which is a suspension of habeas corpus, and puts the troops on the ground against Americans, which is against the law, and they don't care because they are criminals, the crime family, the crime lords of the Republican Party. It is just on full display. You know, I mean, there ain't even a question about it. It's just, they just don't care. They have all the power, and they're just going to abuse it and commit fraud and crime and waste and abuse and steal money relentlessly in every way they can. And bankrupt our country, just like every business Trump ever had, he bankrupted. And then, of course, it's getting a lot of press, him going around the world now to all the people who are giving him bribes, all the Middle East super wealthy billionaires, the sovereign wealth funds, where there's trillions of dollars just making money, investment money, that are the funds behind, you know, these countries. And yeah, after that, I bet their tariffs go down, right? After he gets some backside deal. All right. Oh, God. The Kennedy Center, the Trump's favorite, I guess, play is Les Mis, and they don't want to play at the Kennedy Center now that it's been corrupted by Trump and the Republican weaklings. It's just so weak how they just say, I want to be the president of everything. I want to control everything. I want to be the Pope. I want to be the president of the Kennedy Center, so I'm just going to make it so because I'm president, right? It's just childish, weird behavior that we all have to watch. And I'm telling you, as I've predicted, the future news, they should do this in a South Park episode, right? Who are all the Kennedy Center, you know, Lifetime Achievement Awards going to go to? I can't wait. It's going to be a comedy scene. It's going to be Kid Rock. It's going to be Hulk Hogan, you know, John Voight, Sylvester Stallone. If they want it, they probably won't go black, but if they do, you know, Kanye, right? Oh, it's going to be funny because it's going to be so horrific. Let's see. Criminal, racist, traitor, insurrectionist, bribe-making, corrupt Republicans in Congress in a hearing once again showed fake doctored evidence, right? They took this and then photoshopped this finger out to make it look like this. That's what they did, right? And then they tried to show this in Congress as evidence of someone being against MAGA. Because they just, they have no values, ethics, morals. They are liars, traitors, racist, rapists, woman-hating, freaking misogynists, xenophobic, just the worst, deplorable, disgusting. Deplorable ain't a strong enough word. Degenerate, derelicts. These are the words that would be, and they don't have to be. The thing is, right, that stench, like I can't do anything about how ugly I am, but they can. They could change like that. They could just go from being a Republican to not being a Republican. Like they weren't born that way. They don't have to stay that way, but they choose to be because they have no soul. Oh yeah, that's right. I was gonna look for the protest here on Maui, but then I realized there's this memorial service I gotta go to, which is gonna be great for me socially because there's gonna be just so many. Anybody that knows this guy, Big T, is gonna be the best person in my community. only people that knew Big T were great people. Oh, God, go. That's why I'm on the table bouncing it, and it bounces the camera. Sorry about that. And so that's going to be cool. I'm really going to enjoy just being there in the community. Very sad, the reason. I'll definitely do some crying. In fact, on that note, before I start crying right now, let me teach you something cool. Because you know what? Oh my God, 25 people. All right, so if you don't know what happens to you when you watch my channel, you become more cool. If you're one of those nerdy Democrats that wants to increase your cool factor, I'm here for you. If you're one of those degenerate Republicans that's just switched over, I can really help you. All right, and all the good old boys know this. Tell you what, I grew up in Northern California, okay, all right. Right, leverage. You can do it with a lighter or another beer. Usually, if you can get it to catch. Oh, but they made it too slippery. So let's see, what do I got? Maybe the Sharpie. See if I can do it with a Sharpie. But don't break the Sharpie. There we go, with a Sharpie. It's all about the leverage. You just get it under there, scoop it up. Booyah, you're drinking Canadian beer. Sorry, Canada, we're so sorry. This crime family that's ruining the world, maybe. Oh, and then, yeah. India and Pakistan. So they both have thermonuclear weapons. They're talking about de-escalation because they just fired missiles and artillery at each other. The Kashmir region of India is the one region that's dominated by people of the Muslim faith. The rest of the whole country is Hindu. Of course, Pakistan is Muslim, and its border is right there. And Pakistan, I didn't know this, Pakistan gets 80% of its water from India. Holy shit. So they've got this thing they can hold over Pakistan, which makes Pakistan want to capitulate and become peaceful real quick. But yeah, whether it's in Ukraine or there or, you know, somewhere else, like Iran, anywhere, we don't need a nuclear weapon detonated anywhere on Earth, okay? Let alone a few of them, because they're so big nowadays. They'll create a lot of muck in the world that will probably cost a few lives downstream. So we don't want to see that. But yeah, that has escalated. Anyway, okay, moving on. So keep an eye on that, because that's pretty freaky, man. And even if it happened way over there, that's just gonna go up in the atmosphere. We're all in the same northern hemisphere. I'm hoping that down here on the low end of it, maybe there'll be less of it, because I'm not right up in the middle of the northern hemisphere. I don't know, but that's just wishful thinking, maybe. Anyway, if you haven't heard about Guantanamo Bay, they want to turn that into like this weird. The billionaires of the world want to start building cities where where no laws pertain to them, and where they get a slave workforce, right? All these people that are detained for profit. Government's paying these prisons. They call them detention centers. They're prisons, and they're horrible. And they're getting paid millions of dollars by the federal government to open them and to house people. And so they have an interest in keeping people there, right? And sending people there. It's an infrastructure they're building out, so maybe they can just put any and everyone they want to, who's a journalist or somebody with an opinion or a lawyer or a judge or a protester, somebody working at a nuyspaper, anybody, an immigrant, anybody with brown skin or black skin, women indiscriminately they don't like. I mean, who knows? Like the Uyghurs in China, you know, and the people in El Salvador. Maybe it's not long before they start doing that, because they've got the infrastructure. So they're building it out fast. And on Guantanamo Bay, they want to make it an example, make a shining example, a place where immigrants can come and live in detention centers and work as slaves to try to impress us enough to gain citizenship or freedom, and then come to the U.S. after they've done enough to impress us in a tech city that'll have its own laws separate from the U.S., where Tech billionaires can do God knows what weird shit they want to make legal for themselves or not be held accountable for. Just weird, sick, haunting, more criminal, horrible shit that these fucking Republicans are doing. Oh, it is gross. And more stupid shit Republicans are doing. The Surgeon General, that, not for nothing, and I'm no expert on everything or anything, but it seems to me, just throwing shit against the wall, if you're going to have a Surgeon General, right, a Surgeon General, someone whose title is the Surgeon General, I'm just saying, for shits and giggles, maybe that person should be a surgeon. I mean, maybe even not just any doctor, but a doctor who is a surgeon in particular, to be the Surgeon General. That would just make rational sense, right? That would be common sense. Rational thinkers would think that. People with critical thinking skills would think that, right? But no, not Republicans, because they don't have any of that shit going on in their heads. They're so fucked up. They just hired a woman to be the Surgeon General that's not even a doctor, let alone a surgeon. Oh, God. And recommended by a conspiracy theorist, RFK Jr. Anyway, ain't that just right? I'll tell you what. What the hell you gonna do? I don't know. Craig? I don't know, Craig. It's Friday. I ain't got shit to do, Craig. Oh. All right, I ain't got no job. I ain't got shit to do. All right. So, yeah, thousands of people are being deported who are guilty of working a 60-hour work week. Those are the criminals. And by the way, the milk you're drinking, the strawberries you're eating, the tortillas you're eating, the meat you're consuming, it all came from people who were laborers, many of which were undocumented. Yeah, underpaid, keeping the price of your shit low. And while you complained about how they burden on our health system, no, they were underpaid. So they paid by being underpaid and being given none, right? If we were to treat them fairly, their employers would give them, right, health insurance. But it makes it more affordable for your food if the farm workers got no insurance. So then everyone complains, all the rich people, oh, they're costing me money. No, they're keeping the price of your strawberries down by having no health insurance at that farm. Paying into Social Security for a lifetime, working 80 hours a week, paying into so that I can receive that money. They don't even get to receive that money. Anyway, it is just cruel and unthinkable, un-American to be anti-immigrant. I am an immigrant, a descendant of immigrants, right? Invaders who came here looking for a better life. Anyway, cheers. Let's just break into this smooth old Moosehead. I haven't drank Moosehead since high school. And I am reminded, it is a smooth lager. 5%. That used to be a lot of alcohol in a beer, 5%. And what's interesting, here's something you might not know. I've talked about occasionally. Green beers, Heineken in particular, but green beers also, Stein Lagers, Rolling Rocks, but Heineken in particular is Hawaii unofficial state beer. If Heineken were smart, they would just temporarily do an ad campaign where they change their name to Hawaiian-kin or Hawaiian Heineken, or, but I think Hawaiian-kin would be a smart, short-term name. But, everybody, just 2 days ago when I was down at Canoe Beach and I signed my waivers so I could paddle, I was walking back to my car and I saw my old friend I started working with when I first moved here, a great Filipino guy, Carlito Lubin. And he's there with his son and grandkids. So it was cool. I got to meet his son. But first thing he did was offer me a cold Heineken, right, at the beach. He was there with his wife and son, and they were just enjoying the day together like a good family does. 3 generations, right? That's one of the best things about immigrant families, right? They don't as soon as a kid turns 18, they don't want to kick them out of the house and force them to make it on their own, right? They're like, hey, I love you. If you want to stay home for 5 or 10 more years and raise your kids here, that's cool, because we're family. We love each other. You know what I mean? Mexicans, other, cultures are all too happy to spend time with their family, right? Us Americans in the suburbs can often learn something from that. I know I have. It's the kind of family I wish I had had. Anyway. Takes two, though. Can't do that by yourself. Thanks, Canada, for making good beer. Oh, yeah. Tell you what. All right. Jasmine Crockett just dressed down. Marjorie Taylor Greene was just reveling in that. Of course, it's a small victory, if it is one. But Marjorie Taylor Greene is so stupid, and it is always on display, and she's a child. And, man, Jasmine Crockett did admit she's 44 years old. She is so smoking hot for 44. And being so smart and tough makes her, go from a 10 to a 20. She's so hot because she's so smart and takes no shit. Yeah, and I just heard someone mention her for the first time as a possibility for president, which I've been saying since before freaking Kamala ran or whatever. Jasmine should have been the vice. Oh man, would that have been spicy? Or if they just had, anyway. I mentioned already, but it's getting some attention. Judge, box of wine, Jeanine Pirro. She's gonna be the lead prosecutor. Just a dipshit. Is gonna be lead prosecutor in Washington, D.C. Of course, I reported on already, there's a stepped up military offensive, because what we need to do, or they need to do, in Israel is bring tens of thousands more troops into Gaza and rain shit ton more bombs on these people who've been ravaged now for almost 2 years or a year and a half. I mean, it is crazy. Another 100 people were killed last night. It's gnarly, it's brutal, it's so counterintuitive. It's like, oh, really? Right now, that's what you think you need to do? Is just send in lots more troops? I mean, it is, it's gnarly. It's gnarly. And so to be against genocide is not to be pro-terrorist. And these racist traitor Republicans, ignorant fools with no critical thinking skills, think they can pull that over on us, sell that idea to us. Oh, you're anti-Semitic if you don't like to see genocide or ethnic cleansing. No, I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm human. All right, let's move on. Military parade. Like I said in my lead up, this is going to be the largest protest in American history. It's not just going to be a military parade, but 10 to 1. There might be some dumbass, racist, ignorant fool traitors that don't have an IQ above Republican that are there to support the traitor in chief, and that'll be gross. But for every one of them, there'll be 10, 20 real Americans who figure out how to park far enough away so they can get to that, because it's going to be so hard. If there's one thing I might want to try to do, although I'm so afraid of flying right now. I've never been afraid of flying until Trump's FAA, a fucking, what do they call those? Reality star, or reality show host? That's our transportation secretary. Who the first thing he did was fire 400, DEI hires at the FAA. If you had your foot blown off, even though you were the best air traffic controller, if you'd gone to Iraq and had your foot blown off and you were in a wheelchair, well, you had to be a DEI hire. They fired disabled people, women, and black guys, black women, right? Who were maybe the best one on the job because they're racist traitors. We were putting DUI in place of DEI. DEI wasn't forcing anyone to get hired. It just allowed people that weren't white men to test in, to do the work, just like allowing women to meet the same physical demands to make the fire department, right? They still got to carry the same hose weight, right? But there's women out there sturdy enough to do that shit. And so they can do it. And so we don't discriminate against women who want to be firemen, whatever you call it. right? Because they can do the same shit. And that ain't DEI. That's just allowing them to test in, right? And that's all DEI is. And it's been turned into something that it ain't. And of course, Republicans aren't smart enough to, process that or even understand it, right? Because they can't think straight. Oh, it's so sad. The Alien Enemies Act has been blocked by a judge because, of course, lying traitors, insurrectionists, racists who just want to inflict pain on people use that as an excuse, right? But we are not being invaded by Venezuela. Venezuela is not behind the Tren de Agua, right? And that's the big lie in all the news, and they're trying to like put that into all the weird subversive ways to fuck with your mind, Facebook, TikTok, wherever. Tell you that, it's because there's a connection between the gang and the government. The government's hired the gang to go in and disrupt America. No, Russia's been hired to come in and disrupt America, and they're doing it from the White House. Ooh, excuse me. God bless Canada, huh? God bless Canada. Tell you what, we love you guys. I'm so sorry. All right. Stock market is going to go down. I'm just waiting for it. If you don't know that, that's the fact. It's going to go down. Supply chains are disrupted. If you're not watching the news, the ports are almost empty. There's a huge fraction less stuff coming in, less stuff for us to buy. Because, when we buy stuff, we blame the people who sold it to us for subjecting us to victimhood. We have a trade deficit with you because we bought something from you. That's the stupid shit our president's doing, right? Accusing the people who are making our lives better of shit. It's the first or second thing you learn in Econ 101 or Econ 20 or Econ 1A, whatever it is. It's unbelievable, the ignorance and the stupidity. Protectionism has been proven from time and time again throughout economic history. There's a history of economic philosophy. And tariffs ain't ever been a part of smart. Oh, anyway, so yeah, supply chain disruption. And then what about the labor? The disruption to labor markets. The people who are doing the things so that we can get the things. Like I just saw a story about the Florida farmer. They gotta plow tomatoes into the ground. So how much food won't make it to market because there's no one to pick it, et cetera, et cetera. We're about to see that. I expect to see some effect, which is cool. There's this one place, like I did a video about it, the tropical plantation here on Maui, has 100% locally grown produce, which is pretty cool. And that will be there even when we can't import it from Mexico or California or wherever the farm workers aren't showing up or have been detained, treated like criminals for picking my strawberries and put in prison for that god-awful offense. Oh my God. And it's amazing how these evil Republican people have just quickly gone from, oh yeah, I'll agree to that. Since they're here illegally, they are criminals. They are terrible people. We need to subject them to cruelty, pain, make them suffer, they can never come back. It's just, it's sociopathic fucking thinking. It's narcissism, malignant narcissism is being taught to you. And you are just soaking it up, man. Don't be that stupid. By the way, if you don't know this, I've decided to officially become an influencer now that I have 24 people watching. So, hope you're feeling influenced. All right, let's keep going on. You gotta love, again, the Constitution. Trump being asked, do you feel you need to uphold the Constitution? And he says, I don't know. I've got lawyers working to figure out if I can just, never have to follow the Constitution at all, because I'm already not following it. But I'm being challenged on all my criminal behavior of not following the Constitution. So I don't know, but we're trying as hard as we can with our lawyers, and we're trying to neutralize all the other lawyers and arrest judges. And it's interesting drama playing out before us all. It is the world on display. Literally, like this is either going to all end up in a better world, like Hegel, this philosopher, had this idea, right, that this is new now, the new thesis. What we got Adolf Hitler. He's the new thesis, right? And of course, it's going to rise up when we see 20 times the people protesting at the military parade for his birthday, right? We're going to see the antithesis. We're going to see the natural born antithesis, right? Will come from this new shitty thesis, will become the antithesis. Just like Adolf Hitler was a thesis, then the antithesis was the world kicking his ass. Luckily that happened. So now we got a new thesis. It's going to be a new antithesis, and then the synthesis that's going to come out of that is hopefully going to be something good, not something far worse, right? Which is kind of where we're at a fork in the road. Anyway, that's Hegel. He's one of those philosophers. All right. So yeah, that is very disturbing because the president did take an oath. I swear to protect and defend the Constitution. Like that is his number one job. And then it's the number one job he's not doing. He's doing the opposite of that, right? All right, so what else? Oh, of course, they're building new foreign torture prisons. Literally, they just literally want to torture people like they're and exterminate them like El Salvador. But now, what's even scarier, possibly, is the thought of being sent to Africa, right? Which is going to address all the white supremacist dreams come true, sending black people and brown people back to Africa, right? That's been a mantra in the racist, traitor, white supremacist, white inferiorist, the white nationalist, white anti-nationalist movement is, send them back to Africa. Okay, so that's what they're working on. And they want to start doing that next week to Libya, to Angola. And so, of course, courts have to block that shit. It's just more criminal shit, and it's so inhumane and so cruel, so unthinkable for any real American to think that our government would want to do that sort of thing or actually do it to us. And they want to send us over there too, right? Really put the fear into us, right? Like the death penalty isn't enough of a fear. Our prison system is plenty shitty. It's already dangerous enough. Oh my God. Anyway, God, you really got to be a horrible person to want to sign up for all these talking points that they're trying to sell people. These poor Republicans and their soul just turned into pure evil without them even realizing. They go to church and then they watch Fox News and turn into the fucking devil. It's pretty sad. So locally, this is a big stain on our local. There was local love for this woman, Tulsi Gabbard, right? So the history of Hawaii includes one of the most evil presidents, McKinley, stealing this country from its people. So McKinley, right, the one that Donald Trump loves the most, his favorite president is McKinley. He was also the tariff president, but he's the president, went around the world and said, I want to take this country, I want to take the Philippines, I want to take Hawaii, right? And the Queen trusted the United States government and just couldn't think or believe that they would possibly do this. She totally trusted the United States government, right? Just like so many have up till this point, and now they're realizing, we can't, right? Like Greenland. And so when Trump is studying how to take over a country, I guarantee you they're looking at Hawaii's history, right? And so, and what's just recently happened? Tulsi Gabbard, born and raised local girl, right? Should know that history. I'm sure she does. Queen Liliuokalani, locked up in her prison, in her house for the rest of her life. Never got to leave her house. Like, why did they have to even do that? That's just cruel and inhumane because it was Donald Trump in 1898, 1896, all of it. And all the evil, shitty people. It was the same. It was the right-wing, racist, freaking Christian assholes that thought, these are savages that need us to bring Christianity to them, to give them civilization, to save their souls. We got to steal their country. And they got together with the Navy, these racist military people, And then, yeah, but yeah, so that's our history. And now what's Tulsi Gabbard doing? She's working on trying to figure out how to take over Greenland, just like Hawaii was taken over in this evil imperialistic manner that we used to be, and we stopped being that way, right? We became better people who said we're not going to go around and try to steal countries from people. And although I know our CIA does all kinds of bad shit, trying to overthrow regimes, I understand all that, but still, we don't go around trying to take countries anymore, because that's just not cool, right? It ain't cool. So yeah, but that's what's happening. We got some super uncool piece of shit Republicans. They're gonna go threaten everybody and try to take over their countries. They're gonna be bombing Mexico soon. They asked Mexico for permission, because they later are gonna say, well, we asked for permission, they wouldn't give it to us, so we got to bomb the cartel. It's for national security. It's to protect American citizens. All the garbage, all their lies and their deceit and their harmful shit that they're doing to the American people, they say, oh, that's to protect us, right? Just like George Orwell, right? Freedom is slavery, right? War is peace. Ignorance is strength. That's the shit they're bringing forth. It is so, and then they're teamed up with the fucking AI robot doomsdayers, and then the fucking religious doomsdayers. Oh, it's so fucked up. All these doomsdayers. And then Kristi Noem, the enemy within, a domestic enemy, working for Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, the puppy killer. Of course, if you haven't seen my amazing comedy show, the one time I ever got to open for somebody, open for Mark Price. You didn't see that in the video because it is what it is. But I couldn't film him. But he was like a paid comedian. You know, he was on Family Ties as a childhood actor, and he's been doing comedy ever since and before. I found stand-up comedy of his when he was a teenager. Like, I guess he was like a teenage star. You know, anyway. But I talked to the owner of a comedy club, and he just offered me, hey, you want to open for this guy? I was like, all right. So I did 12 minutes. It's called Bringing Funny Back, and it's on my YouTube channel. But if you just look up Bringing Funny Back, it'll pop up. I want to see a pretty good 12 minutes. But in there, I told my joke. And let me tell you the backstory. My mean ex-wife, her name is almost the same as Kristi, and she has a sister named Karen. And I once dated just this amazing girl, the girl that I wished if I'd ended up with her, she would have made my life so great. Also named Karen, right? Who exercised, eats right, is the sweetest girl ever. Just a smart, hard worker, work ethic. You know, I mean, I'd have been very well off to have ended up with her. But I just tell the joke without explaining all that shit. You know, we need a new Karen. You know, I'd like to nominate Kristi. People don't know her. You know, I know Karen. It's her sister Kristi that's the real mean one. She's the one that calls the cops. She doesn't just call the cops on your kids. She calls the cops on her own kids, which is true. My ex-wife called the cops on my kids. You know, my son won't go to school. She's calling the cops to get her son to go to school. Anyway, yeah. So that's true. Like, and then go, you know, I nominate Kristi to be the new Karen, and you know, she's a puppy killer, and now she's freaking Hannibal Lecter's daughter, just straight across the board. Holy crap, the way she's dancing on the graves of these innocent boys that are being sent to the extermination camps in El Salvador. It is so haunting. Anyway, I heard somebody call her a domestic enemy. I was like, oh, that's great language. Great language. And that is just about, let's see, about all the news. That guy, Jay, I don't even want to say his name, but that one guy who's a professor, PhD, Jordy Small Peter. God, I hate seeing his shit. And he's an influencer, and he's just a Nazi in a suit who with a PhD. And everything he says is, he was just, oh, it's this legacy. Everyone wants to blame the legacy media for everything. And all they do is have these honest, hardworking journalists trying to get the truth out there to everybody. And of course, if you can discredit the truth tellers, right, then you make a space to lie to people and to manipulate them, which is all Fox News, AON, all these these propaganda, freaking insurrectionists, misinformation, disinformation dipshits are just pushing out there, and it is just gnarly. And we see it constantly, and God, I watched like 30 seconds of that douchebag, and he's the classic example of the guy. And I was this guy when I was taking a bunch of econ and philosophy courses. I took combined econ and philosophy. I took 11 college courses. And for a year or two, I would talk to people about ideas and thoughts I was having based on some philosophers' ideas, like Hegel. And, and I was just talking over them because they weren't in the same class. They hadn't studied these philosophers, and they weren't listening to these lectures. And, it's all like a way to sort of disarm someone, to make them think you're someone they should listen to because you know shit they don't, right? And he's always referring to Socrates or the Bible or some philosopher, to try to talk over everybody, to pretend like he's just smarter than everybody because he's making some reference like that. And it is just so annoying. I see a lot of that. Anyway, all right, let's enjoy a Canadian beer. Oh, long-winded. How long? 90 minutes. See, hour and a half. Holy shit. Takes a long time to get through all the bad news. There's so much of it. What if we had people producing good news, right? People that wanted to bring the greatest good to the greatest number, right? What if they wanted their legacy to be doing good in the world, to be lessening harm and creating more peace and tranquility and producing more and enabling people to be more successful and healthier and happier. And oh my God, we could do so much better than these evil bastards, these crime lords that have taken over our federal government. We call them Republicans, the GOP crime lords. Oh God, biggest bunch of weirdos. Back to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yes, you're the fucking weirdos. Bakersfield douchebag, fucking Mike McCarthy, and little Dick Johnson, probably gay little Dick Johnson, who lives to make people suffer in his own district. You know how many people need the food that they just took away from food banks in Louisiana in his district, right? Like, these people are traitors to their own people, to their country, to the Constitution, and all just feckless, weak bastards that will just carry Trump's nutsack wherever he goes. Is just off. Oh, speaking of that, I like to show my white nuts everywhere I go, and I like to cradle them gently, you know what I mean? So let feast your eyes on my white nuts. Enjoy seeing my white nuts for the rest of this episode. I like to show them off to the community. I'm proud of my white nuts. They're beautiful white nuts, aren't they? A little bit glazed, these nuts. Anyway, sorry. I couldn't help myself. I make myself laugh so easily. So, all right. So again, if you've been fooled by thinking you should follow some Nazi traitor who's manipulating you into thinking that there's any good, that the Republican Party is serving any good in the world at all, doing any good in the world at all, they aren't. They are Nazi traitors, right? If you want to see a way better version of Joe Rogan, a guy like me with an IQ above Republican, right? A guy like me who would never wear skinny jeans, especially skinny jeans with holes in them that are floods. And a guy like me who's cool, unlike Joe Rogan. He's uncool. He wears skinny jeans with holes in them. God, he's so weird. And he gives oxygen to all the racist right-wing traitors, including, of course, their leader, their cult leader. And if you want to see somebody who's funny, because Joe Rogan ain't funny, I never see him say one funny thing. He talks and talks and talks, and you hear him go on and on and on forever and ever. He even talks with comedians for hours. And you never hear anything funny, because you know what? They're not. They're just people who think they can make you laugh because they're just so smart. And there ain't no such thing as a funny conservative comedian, because they're not conservatives. They're just dipshits. And you can't make really good jokes out of hate. Oh, speaking of that, I'm working on trying to make jokes about boners. Boners are going to be funny. The worst boner joke is funnier than the best Republican hate-based joke, guaranteed, every time. Even if it's a bad joke, if it's about boners, it's going to be funnier. Just like farts. Farts are a safe landing spot for jokes, Who wouldn't find a fart joke funny? But man, I couldn't believe it when, again, the fucking the guy we all love, you know, Bill Burr starts out his new specialty talking about Gaza. Yeah, I will never try to make jokes about Gaza, about genocide, man. So, and that's, I'm kind of analytical. I like to study other comedians, and I usually have to turn the TV off right away because they suck so bad. But but subject matter, right? That's one of the many aspects of comedy that I find fascinating, right? There's one choice a comedian absolutely makes. It's the choice of the subject matter that he's going to attempt to make humor about. And I often find I'm very critical, even though I'm a nobody. All these guys, once they succeed, it seems like their lives just get so boring. All they can do is make jokes like, yeah, Bill Burr talking about his relationship with his wife, or Gaffigan talking about shit with his family in their minivan. Or, you know, once you're living at the end of a long driveway with a gate, funny shit doesn't happen in your life anymore. And you start making jokes about the dumbest shit. Oh, I was in the line at the, you know, grocery store and whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Whereas, like, I don't know. So subject matter, I think, is a big thing. And I'm trying to group up mass amounts of jokes materials on different subject matters and then put a few of them together so that I can do like a whole hour of one or two or three combined subject matters that maybe relate to each other, you know, like, you know, poops, farts, penises, boners, vaginas could be an hour. Stupid things tourists say, or things I've observed as a tourist could be one. You know, of course, you've seen the old, someday I have to get around to doing jokes about my childhood in the 70s or 80s. That's a whole genre. There's comedians that don't do any jokes other than jokes about their childhood in the 70s and 80s. Whatever, and on and on and on, the different subjects. The short jokes, situations. I just had this epiphany. If you've seen my one whole joke, man, that is working really good. It's like my best joke, and but there's an epiphany there, right? And this is how you can make your own material, right? When situational humor, it happens all the time in our real lives, right? You say something to somebody, right? Like my friend sending me a text, "Are you still living for free?" You know, because I'm in FEMA housing after a disaster, and I write back, "In your mind," anyway, or the whole joke, right? But the point is, like, if you just look into your basic real life for the little short things that happen that create laughter, that's a joke. You could just repeat, right? Just tell the story of that 30-second interaction, and you got material. And man, I'm gonna start doing more of that, because my whole joke is one of my favorite jokes. And when I did open mic for 4 people at my community college, and those kids, like, they were emotionless. They didn't respond to any jokes I said at all. They had just, and until the whole joke was the only joke that got laughs from these kids I go to school with, these 18, 19, 20-year-olds. Anyway, the 4 of them that were there. The guy that is in charge of the gaming team, there's a gaming team in our community college, you know, gamers, and the teacher or whatever who's in charge of all that, he was there, and he didn't even laugh at my teabag joke, because that's what you learn in video games. As soon as you start playing video games, you learn that when you kill and be killed, other people will come over your body and squat on your face, and they will teabag you, and you'll see it. And that is like the most common thing across all platforms in video gaming, is teabagging. And so I think that's funny, and I tried to tell it. Nobody responded, including him. But later, when he's like, "Oh, I'm in charge of the gaming," I'm like, "Oh, so you know all about teabagging?" And then he laughed, you know. But yeah. And then I thought the joke about you know, being a student. So I've never been an online student, right? And it is kind of funny. It's very funny. I shouldn't take too many more online classes, because, you know, different than being in a classroom. Like in a classroom, you can't put the camera on your eyes and then play a video game under your table on the TV screen in front of you while you're in class. You can't be playing a video game, right? You can't be like drinking a beer you know, in class, cold frosty one there. You can't drink a beer. You can't run out and smoke a little weed and then run back in class. You know what I mean? You can't go cook food. You can't eat in class. I mean, yeah, so it's kind of a bad influence taking those home classes. But yeah, I just finished, I think, I got one more class where they're going to show my work. Maybe I'll do one more of those 3-minute newses. That's my final. I've been making superheroes, American muscular 40-year-old superheroes, patriotic muscular superheroes with wings coming out of their back, standing at a podium in front of the Capitol to AI, and then I get these images. That was my last one. It's funny, and then it made some black versions of me because I'm just trying to make a version of me, of course, as you would see me, because I'm pretty sure when you guys look at me, you're seeing that guy looks like a superhero to me. So I figured that's how I should personify myself in the screenshot. Just kidding, obviously. Let's get back to drinking Moosehead. Gee whiz, tell you 100 minutes, shit. All right. I keep making little advertisements in the comment sections on all the people that I watch who have big followings and who do actual journalism and actual news. You know, like, hey, have you seen the god awful news or you know, all good things and all good times. Just constantly throwing shit at people. I think they delete my comments a lot because I'm advertising, you know, trying to. But meanwhile, all of these people, all of them, every single person I watch, right? You name it, all the Midas Touch, the TYT, all the other people in mainstream media and Jesse Dollemore, David Pack. What does everybody say all the time, over and over and over? They say the same thing. Oh, we need more people in this space. We need more people fighting for democracy, and we need more people that aren't racist traitors like all those right-wing psychopaths. And so, you know, here I am. I'm trying to let them know, you know, I'm here. Why won't you subscribe? Because what would make me happy is if they would just subscribe, even if they don't ever talk about me or feature me. If like that Rick Strom, I just sent him, he has shorts that have no comments at all, like 0 comments. So I'm like, okay, great. If I'm the one comment, maybe he'll see that, right? So I'm like, bro, cuz gonna be cool. The god awful news is gonna go live pretty soon. I just sent him a message before this on that anyway. All right. And yeah, from now on, I've already told you the news. I'm just talking story with you now. 37, holy shit, 37 people. This is the biggest audience I've ever seen. And I'm monetized right now, so I'm actually making a tiny little bit of money from this. I've had days where I made like $2, $3 in a day. This could be a day where I make $4. It's pretty exciting. $4 is making 12. Let's see. Dollar is $6 grand at 12% is $1 a day. So that'd be 4 times that. So $24,000 making 12%, or $48,000 making 6%. I think would be $4 a day, right? Because if you have $1,000 making or $10,000 making 12% is $3,600, right? It's no, that's not right. 12% is $1,200, which is $100 a month. And anyway, I digress. Stock market talk. Annaly Capital Management's paying like over 14, 13, or 12%, and it doesn't seem to want to go any lower. It's a real estate investment trust, and that's where you should start if you're starting to build a portfolio of 20 companies with 30% of your money as you enter into the stock market, waiting for the big crash. It's probably coming pretty soon. Yeah, I've been watching the stock market for 40 years at a distance, and I've seen the challenges of the dot-com bust and the 2008 bust and then the Trump bust, and this is the second Trump bust, but it is systemic and it's going to be brutal. And I don't think the stock market's really priced it in yet. I don't think it's capitulated with reality yet. I also don't see anybody in the stock market that's that's woken up to the reality that there's people who realize that there's companies that donated to Project 2025 to Donald Trump and not to the Democrats, right? Not to democracy. They voted for a dictator, an authoritarian dictator. And one of the best ways to fight for democracy, is to not give any money to the companies that support the insurrectionist, racist traitors, the crime lords that are destroying the world from Washington outward. Anyway, all right. Hey, I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Do no harm, do no crime. Thanks for watching. All good things in all good time. Don't snort nothing. Don't take no pills. Try to exercise, sleep right, eat right. Don't get drunk, but if you do, don't drive drunk. Wrong relationships. Don't get in the wrong relationships. One of the best things about not being in a relationship is I'm not in the wrong relationship, which is one way people kill each other or themselves. If you know anybody that's violent, don't spend time with them. Violent people are dangerous. It's not cool to be violent, right? If you think that violent person is only going to hurt other people, nope. Someday they're going to get drunk and beat you up too, even if it's your best friend or your spouse. What else? Wear condoms. Trump is spreading disease all around the world. Measles, venereal disease, AIDS. AIDS cases have gone up 2,000 cases a day because of the drug withdrawals we've made that protected people around the world from contracting AIDS. But Republicans are spreading that shit like wildfire. Guarantee all the other diseases are spreading because of these ignorant, incompetent people we put in charge of shit. They're afraid of vaccines. And so wear condoms. Okay, all right. And then let's see what else. That's pretty much most. Oh, don't gamble. Don't gamble. Thunder Valley Casinos. Talked to the manager. She said, you know, a guy came in here. He lost all his money. Went up to the penthouse he was staying at. Jumped off the roof. Landed on the transformer. Knocked the power out for the whole building. A guy who had enough money to get the penthouse, go downstairs and lose everything he owned, and then kill himself because of it. A good reason to not gamble. And it's being shoved down your throat everywhere. You go to the gas station, they're trying to give you, lottery tickets, that's gambling, okay? And everywhere, and NFL, fantasy football, baseball, basketball, all the gambling shoved down your throat now by Major League Baseball, by the NFL. They're all trying to get you to gamble on sports. Don't, okay? That's how you kill yourself. So don't do it, right? Sometimes you got to win in life by not killing yourself, right? Right? Play defense. Play offense by going for a hike, eating right, sleeping right, exercising, having healthy social interactions, doing good deeds. And then protect yourself on the downside by not doing all that other shit. You know what I mean? That's how you have a really kick-ass life. You just don't fuck it up. All right. That's a lot of words. And almost a full beer. All right. And I hope you'd like my white nuts once again. And do no harm, do no crime. Love you guys. Thanks for watching All Good Things in All Good Time. Aloha. And this has the most successful show I've done yet. I wonder if vertical is helping. I just don't know. All right. Love you guys. Aloha. Y moi.